Hey guys, welcome back to the United Star. And I don't know where to start off from. Is it 2 points dropped? Is it how do we define this 2-2 draw against Southampton? And to be honest, I think it was a game of missed chances. I think Martial missed a chance, Rashford missed a chance. The players, the players started off slowly. Pogba gave away that goal. We were unfortunate for Williams to get that injury. I don't know. It seemed like things were going for and against us here and there. I believe Southampton should have been on two red cards. That foul on Greenwood, the handball. I mean, I'm going to leave it to you guys. I don't have much to say. I'm highly disappointed, not with the players and more with how things panned out. It was just not meant to be.
Yeah, man, Vishesh, I don't know, I'm really gutted after this performance. We're yet unbeaten and all of that, but we could have easily won this game. Rashford from 2 yards misses a chance. I don't know how he missed that. Martial has this incredible run and then he just hurries the shot a little bit and he also doesn't get a goal in. And as you said, defensively, too many errors. Even Pogba and Bruno today together were not looking good. And I'm actually I don't know, it feels like I'm very sad with the drawn result. And one side that's really good because I don't remember when like drawing at times against teams like Southampton was becoming the norm. So I'm quite gutted. So it shows that we've like progressed, but today was just not. We didn't look sharp. We
But
didn't
that's
look
the
at
point,
it.
right, Rasham. I don't think progress is the point. If we look at today, I'm not going to pick on the defense because individual mistakes aren't from a defensive end. I think the weakest link of our defense was Wan Bissaka. Maguire was doing well. Lindelof would probably be my man of the match, irrespective of that last minute mistake. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but they were making the tackles. Luke Shaw was brilliant, and I mean Brandon Williams. I just feel I'm gutted to the extent that I don't know what to say. The kid came on, and the way I thought he got better
No,
off.
Vishesh, let me tell you that what Southampton were doing today, it's shocking. I mean, I have seen Arsenal fans and Spurs fans go on about the ref and not giving fouls. Today was shocking. It was at times it was like I was watching some MMA or some wrestling going on. Oriol Romeo, how he was on the pitch, I do not understand. Like, how many fouls does it have to take to book a person? The same with Eric Walker Peters. Walker Peters, essentially, if you look at that handball in slow motion, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's put his hand out and blocked that ball. That should be a red card. For all I care, that the referee was just, and any foul that we committed was a yellow. So I didn't understand what was happening. Like Oreo Romeo, even on Brandon Williams, I've not seen it again, but it didn't look like just a normal coming of clashing of heads together, right? No player bleeds that much from a scar or something like that. So I really want to understand what it takes for referees to give fouls against the big teams. Just because the team is weaker in terms of Southampton or other big teams, you stop giving fouls, you let them have their way. Really, at times, it felt like I was watching a wrestling match, like Oreo Romeo and Mason Greenwood. What is VAR doing? It's there for like tackles like that, right? I think that's a straight red. He's gone right through his foot, right through his foot. He's gone. Then the ball was gone from there. And I think Southampton, they're a physical team, but like this was just like I didn't understand. Like we didn't cope with the physicality. We were looking tired, and Pogba and Bruno were not looking good. You're right completely. That Maguire played well. Shaw was good. Van Bissaka was not at it. Again, he took a yellow card this game for a mistimed tackle. And Lindelof, I don't agree with you. That was very good today, especially in that last goal. I didn't think he need to manhandle Obafemi. Like I don't understand what he was trying to do there. I didn't. I was very. I mean, I'm lost for words because it was a very not United like performance. We had the chances going forward and we didn't take them. And defensively, it was just all over the place. De Gea made a good save, but I mean, overall,
Yeah,
it's just
I'm actually going to go to Rishi out here. Rishi, do you think this goes down to what you've always been talking about, and that's character? Do you think the boys didn't have it in them after Brandon went off? They didn't believe in it. What's your full opinion on this? Because
You
I'm
know,
just gutted and speechless.
honestly, I'm going to differ from both of your opinions. I'm more, how do I say, just like heartbroken rather than disappointed. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed because let's not take anything away from Southampton over here. In all honesty, this was a very tactically set up match. They challenged us very well tactically, and I'm going to get a little technical over here. So let's talk about it. They were playing a 4-4-2, which would occasionally shift to a 4-4-2 diamond. So the two wingers and the midfielder would drop deep. This would cut off a lot of passing lanes, which Bruno and Pogba really rely upon. So our entire approach to the game had to change in the first half. And I was really glad to see that happen in the first half, where we changed our approach, where we adapted to the requirements of the game. And we did try different things. We tried playing the ball long. We tried taking on the players a bit more. We tried releasing the ball a bit more deeper in our half, even though it was a little risky. That's how the second goal came, mind you, where Aaron Wan-Bissaka released the ball quickly when he had pressure on him, and we got a quick switch to the other side. And the first ball also came when we crossed the lines between the midfield and defense in the no man's land by playing a long ball in. So in terms of that, I was very happy how we adapted to the game. As for Bruno and Pogba, like I said, this was a very different game for both of them and what they're used to. So yes, there were a lot of misplaced passes between both of them, but I think the way they covered distance was the difference between us adapting and not adapting. The amount of work that Bruno has put in today has to be commended. You cannot take that away from him. That man has run a lot and he deserves credit for that. As for the missed opportunities, I think this was bound to happen. We were on a very high of scoring goals. There was going to be a time when we were going to miss easy opportunities, such as what Rashford missed, and I think a little selfishness from Marshall's part on occasion, and the last chance where he just skied it. As for defense, personally, I was a little disappointed in Shaw, even though he came back into the game much later on, where he started pushing up a bit more. I felt he needed to be a little closer to Lindelof and Maguire in this game. As I spoke about it on the group as well, this game, their wingbacks were really high up, and it was putting a lot of pressure on our midfielders. So Shaw had to be closer to his defenders to cover gaps. And it's sad to see what happened to Brandon Williams, but I'm glad he's back on his feet at least. As for what happened in the end, I think that's just football. It was the momentum was on their side. They got the corner when they needed it, and it was 100% gonna go in. Like, it's one of those FIFA moments, when you're playing the game and you know that the ball is going to go in the back of the net. It was just one of those moments. So overall, I'll tell you, I'm 60% happy with the team. 40% I feel like we could have tried a bit more, or maybe make a change in shape early on and shut shop. I'd mentioned to the group also, I think it was high time we decided to shut shop and, just play the game out. So overall, I'd say, like I said again, I'm not that disappointed, but at the same time, this was the result that was going to make our season. It was really going to, compound into us doing better in the other tournaments as well. So that's my take on the game. As for the players, I was happy with. I was definitely happy with how Martial was hungry for the goals. The standout moment for me, which I think sums up what I've been talking about this whole season, was when Rashford missed a goal. You should have seen how everyone hung their heads. That shows the desire and passion that they had, and how disappointed they were that they weren't able to get that at the back of the net because of how hard they've been working in training. So that's my take, guys. It's different from both of yours. I understand it's going to be different from what all the fans of United are going to think, but
No,
this is
Rishi,
my perspective.
personally, I think you're resounding what we want to say. We're just disappointed with how the situation has panned out. Because if we look at it, William stays on the pitch. It's 11v11. Things can be a different game altogether, right? So we're just, I think Prasham and I, as a collective, are disappointed with the circumstances that took place post the 88th minute, and you have just highlighted what we think as a collective the group has done well today.
I mean,
I
Rishi,
completely agree with you.
I know, Rishi, what I'm saying is I'm disappointed in the sense that not with the players, but with, like, yeah, as exactly what Vishesh said. I mean, I felt like I was shell shocked after looking at Williams and how much blood was pouring out of him, and I feel that that showed on the players a little bit as well. Like, I could see like what Martial and Maguire especially and Lindelof, they were just a little bit. I think they were a little shell shocked. If you can see that picture of Ole telling Matic what to do, even Ole is a little shell shocked as to what has happened to Williams, and I think that played a little bit of a part as well in it. I'm really not disappointed with the players, because with the high we were on, there was bound to come a game where this would happen, right? And we've not lost. We've yet gotten a draw out of it. So it's not the end of the world. But it just feels a very anticlimactic, because it didn't look like, till that happens to Williams, I thought that we were not going to lose this game. We were not going to
Yeah,
draw this
I,
game
I
even.
I completely agree with you guys, but that's what I'm trying to tell you, that this is what they call, this is football, bloody hell football, because it's these fine moments that really shatter the fans hopes and dreams. But if we look at it at a broader scheme, I think the way Southampton approached this game tactically, I think we did really well to keep them at uh, to counter that tactical change. Credit to Ole, credit to the players. Yes, there were tired legs. Yes, there could have been a better performance. But I think in the broader scheme of things, we are on an upward trajectory, and we are definitely getting that top four place, guys. Mark my words. Let's not, fret too much over this game, because there were individual mistakes. There weren't too many team mistakes. The first goal was Pogba's mistake. The second goal, frankly speaking, it was, like I said, it was one of those FIFA moments. It was going in regardless of what was going to happen. So let's move on from this game. The next game is coming up soon. I'm sure the boys are going to be very adamant to play the next game fast and get that win, and a big win. So I'm sure this is just a minor stop.
Yeah, I'm lacking the confidence from Rishi, to be honest. When with two disappointed fans out here, the confidence of Rishi, this is quite the turn of events, I must say. But I'm going to end this with a simple thing. Rishi is confident of top four. So am I. And I know Prasham is as well. Prasham's confident of third, as he signaled. But I have two questions for you. Do you think, because I think Ole made a mistake in his substitutions, personally, because we have five substitutes, but we're allowed to make changes only thrice, excluding halftime. So while Luke Shaw was a forced substitute, he could have made two substitutes first when he was removing Pogba, rather than rather than dividing it as 1-1-2. We had that other player, Williams, injured. We can bring on Eric Bailly or something. I'm being exceptionally critical of the full situation, but
No, no,
I don't
Vishesh,
know.
let me just come here and say that I think Ole did well. I think to take Pogba off when he did, I thought was a little early. I wasn't expecting it, but I think it was the right decision because Pogba wasn't looking good. After that, I was talking to a few people as well while watching the game, and I thought that out of Bruno, Martial, and Rashford, at least two had to be on the pitch because we were just one goal up. And he was going for that third goal. You could see it. And that, I mean, I give him credit for that. I don't agree with Rishi that we could have shut up shop because I thought we had that third goal in us, but it didn't come. We were very close, it didn't come. So he had to keep two of them on. So he did that and he took Bruno off, which again I think is a brilliant decision. Got McTominay on, shot the defense up. Now coming to the substitutions where he could have made one, two together maybe, but I think he couldn't do that because he needed Bruno, Rashford, Martial to stay on for that goal to happen. That didn't happen, unfortunately. If that goal happens, then we're not talking about this. But that didn't happen, unfortunately. And then when he has to get Shaw off, that change happens too quickly and he doesn't have that time to make the decision whether he wants to make two subs at that point itself. And then, of course, no one saw what happened to Williams coming. Like, again, I say a clash of heads. I've never seen like a player go off completely. So I want to see that again as to what went down. And I'm more worried for the next game because it's probably going to be Diego Dallo who starts there. But that's for another time. But yeah.
Rishi, you're the biggest critique I know of
Yeah.
Ole.
The only change that I would have made was, instead of bringing Bruno off, I probably would have brought Martial off for two reasons. One is we can play Bruno as a false nine during these situations, and he can cover a lot of distance. So not only can he drop behind the half, he can cover and help out in the attack as well. And another reason being because uh, this was not one of the games where Martial was going to get the hat trick, or he looked like he was going to get the second, even though he tried really hard for it, as compared to last game where we were sure he was going to get a hat trick, but then he got pulled off for no reason. So my only critique would be that this was a game where Marshall should have been taken off and Bruno should have been pushed up for the pitch, and Scott McTominay to support the midfield behind him. I think that change would have sealed up. Again, I'm talking from the perspective of shutting shop, so maybe that's why I'm talking about this change. But again, I feel like that would have sealed our midfield a bit more, and given a lot more pressure to them midfield, because Bruno, like I said, had great movement today. He really worked his socks off. So I felt like we lost a little bit of pressure on the midfield. Fred tried to build the pressure, but he's a little wonky in my opinion. So he wasn't able to keep that pressure. They were able to play around him easily.
Rishi,
But
I
again,
think
all
all
in
of
all,
this would definitely come in our player ratings because we're stretching this out a tad bit. But I'm going to be
uh,
honest out here. It's just, yeah, sorry.
that's what I'm saying, that this review has to be stretched out because there's a lot of disappointment, there's a lot of sadness, but at the same time, there's a lot of analysis that needs to be done as to what went right, what went wrong, and how we are poised for the remaining part of the season. Because let's face it, the Premier League has lit up like anything now. The the top 7 positions are in hand, like you all spoke about in your preview as well, and in the Manchester City video that you all did, and the relegation zone is also heating up. So it's a parade for football fans.
So then let me just end it on this note then. Hopes for Crystal Palace? High, low? What's your take?
I want to see what happens. I want to see how the boys bounce back. I'm quietly confident they will, but I think that is the game. If you asked about character, I think that is the game where we show it. Even though we've not lost today, but that is the game where we show the character.
Rishi?
If we don't have any injuries, I'm saying a high. We're going to easily walk past Crystal Palace as long as we don't have any major injuries. I hope Shaw's back for the next game, and Williams is also fine, hopefully. So, onwards we go.
So, guys, that's about it. We're level on points with Leicester. I know we seem disappointed, but that's because we've raised the standards so high that this performance is feeling bad. Otherwise, this side is one of the best sides since lockdown. So, we draw 2-2 at Old Trafford. A horrific injury to Williams. 2 points dropped. Circumstances being an issue. Let us know in the comments below. Personally, I just think luck was against us, and we weren't meant to be in third today. Maybe on 26th of July. So that's about it, guys. Do watch the player ratings. I'm sure Prasham and Rishi will be there to dwell more on how the players performed. But that's about it, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.